Bones are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Bone Throwers Theater. We are getting ready to start Season 2 of this current campaign. My name is Jordan. I am the GM. And to my left we have...
Jeffrey. And I am playing Demetrius Norden.
This is Johnny playing Jorus Glave.
This is Jeremy playing Grayson Digby.
And I'm Aaron playing Brother Benedict.
So last time, guys, things got kind of crazy. If I remember correctly.
Last
time,
Really?
You tried to kill us with fairy magic.
I did not try and kill you with fairy magic. I tried to kill you with dice.
And an automaton.
I'm pretty sure your dice are powered by fairy magic.
Yeah, a little bit of pixie dust is captured in the resin of each of them. So I don't know what to tell
That
you
explains
about that.
everything.
Yeah, everything. So last time we had you guys going through mirrors, trying to save the queen. Mm-hmm. You met a new baddie named Rouge. You managed to pass Dinsham, and I did not mean to be alliterative there, but it happened. Yeah, it was a pretty busy session, and when you got back, you found out that St. Aldrich's Cathedral was like in this
ice dome
this
monster
dome.
It was a big black dome of evil doom.
Separating it from the rest of the city.
My memory is a little off. Did we kill Dinsham, or did we...
Yeah.
No, we killed him.
Okay.
And then...
Oh, okay.
Brother Benedict tried to stop Jorus, and then...
There we go. That's where my
And then there was the back and forth a little bit, and then Brother Benedict just, sort of gave up.
Yeah.
And walked away.
Yeah.
And death happened. And also, Brother Benedict, an important part that happened for you is that when you were passing through the mirror, you saw the shade of your mentor.
I did.
And he told you...
He told me that I'm running with a bunch of low-life scum. Which, after, the goings-on of the last episode, Benedict is seeing that some of us are a bunch of low-life scum.
We may be low-life scum. At least we don't mess with fairies.
Which is true. That is definitely true. So, yeah. My master did not like the crowd
that you're running with.
Namely, the beliefs of the crowd that I'm running with. I don't think he has a problem with the people. He's got a...
You can call me low-life scum all you want. It doesn't bother me.
If you call the queen low-life scum.
Yes.
Which I did.
You did. I wasn't there.
Out of his hearing.
My character heard it. Demetrius was like, check please.
Yeah. So, what I figured we would start off with is a funeral. A funeral for Master Ambrose. Where would you all like this funeral to be?
Well, obviously, the church.
Well, we'd like it to be in the cathedral, but...
No.
I said would like it to be in the cathedral, but that's not an option.
Does the Horologist Guild actually have a patron church?
Yeah. It's...
We'll say Saint Dinians.
That works.
Saint Gearhead.
No.
Their liturgical musical of choice is Motorhead.
Isn't that everyone's liturgical music?
It's actually a church on the opposite end of the city from where the guild headquarters is.
How did they become the patron church if they're so far away?
Because that's where the original headquarters used to be nearby there.
Okay.
Yeah, as the city grew, and you know how things go.
If I remember correctly, the headquarters was sort of in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
More towards this. So this is more on the outskirts, but...
Yeah.
Now, how many people from the guild show up for the funeral?
Million.
1
We're gonna say that 6.
6
show
people? Okay.
There aren't a whole lot of people, and a lot of them are usually on travel.
Okay. And of course, obviously, you're one of the people who shows up, and those 6
Obviously.
would be in addition to you.
Yeah, previous understudies of Master Ambrose and close colleagues that he would have worked with.
Did he have any family show up, or was this more a professional event?
Yeah, of course, family showed up, but I think it would be a more professional event because clockmakers tend to be a lot more professional. Personal opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be family and some friends there, but it'll be pretty small.
I am not there.
No, you would have no reason to be there.
Nope.
Now, did you send invitations to any of the people in the party?
The only person I would have sent an invitation to would have been Grayson.
Well, Grayson's going to show up, but he's late.
Are you fashionably late? Or
No, he's not doing it for fashion to be fashionably late.
It's awkward.
Fashionably late to a funeral?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
It is, sadly.
I'm picturing that it's raining,
Yeah.
and Grayson, when he shows up, sort of in the middle of the priest, whatever.
The homily.
Yeah, he's doing it. So they've already had some of the beginning things going on, and he shows up. It's an old church, so he opens the door, and it's creaking, and people turn around and they see Grayson. He's dressed nicely, but since it has been raining, he's totally soaked.
Yeah.
But it
Very
looks
bedraggled looking.
but it looks like the clothes that he were wearing, even though they're nice clothes, were once very recently covered in mud. Because you kind of got that feel from the rain that it's like a gradient of dirt
Yeah.
that gets more and more brown as it reaches the bottom.
So what has
Like
been
you've been running
happening?
through the muds.
What has been happening to the rain since the St. Algrics has been encased in this black
I don't see anything
bubble?
other than the fact that it's been raining a lot more. I wouldn't say anything supernatural has happened to the rain. Just an unusual amount of it.
Just a lot of rain has been going on.
The rain smells odd. The rain smells slightly sulfuric. Slightly.
Not super noticeable, but
Not super
every now and then
noticeable,
you
but
just kind of catch
Yeah, you
a...
catch a whiff
like-
when the raindrop passes right next to your nostril.
So if you come in now all wet and everything, you're just like, it smells like rotten eggs.
Very, very, very faithful.
Not offensive.
Not offensive, just like
Which
you wouldn't want to stand really
Which
close to
Grayson
him.
wouldn't think anything of, because the reason he's late is he's come from another funeral.
What funeral did he come from?
From Cyril's funeral. He's come from Cyril's funeral, and let's just say it didn't go well with the other attendees of Cyril's funeral, which is why he was at one point covered in mud.
Oh. Did Cyril's sister throw mud at you?
Well, in mud.
Could be.
But it happened.
Yeah.
Have you told anybody that you were responsible for his resurrection and then re-death?
His double dispatch.
No, I haven't told him. Let's say the reason that Grayson got pushed into the mud is because after the funeral, he wanted to talk to Haley and said he knew the details behind, and she didn't want to hear it at the moment. So,
Right.
yes, she pushed him into the mud. He hasn't told her yet any of the details that he wishes to disclose.
Kind of gutsy of him to even want to tell her what happened.
Well, from their last time they talked face to face, he was going to find out what was going on with him.
Yeah.
So if he came back and decided to say nothing, I think he was thinking that would be even worse.
Yeah. Benedict, are you going to come to the funeral?
No. Benedict actually went off on his own to the closest church that he could find for some thought and meditation, and maybe some counsel if he could run into a friendly monk.
I was gonna say, did you go back to the church you went to before with the priestess?
No, I did not go looking for a woman.
You did not go looking for the Order of Saint Teresa.
No, I did not.
So, as the funeral is going on, it's a very ornate casket that has been provided because of the position that Master Ambrose had in the guild. He was one of the masters. He was like one of the few masters that the guild actually had. This is a really tragic event, and so a lot has been lavished upon him. So as you're walking in, Grayson, you hear them finishing the homily. He just finishes as you slip into the pew. And it's an interesting setup because, like, the way that we think of churches, you got the pulpit and the altar at the beginning, and then you have the pews. But this is more of an older church where they have boxes, and they also have like fire pits in the center for like really cold church services. So there is an open box, not one that's rented for a specific family. So you're able to slip into one of those and start drying off from the heat of the brazier. As the pastor finishes, he or the minister finishes, he has a long prayer that he says, and then he asks for Master Ambrose's journeymen, if any of them would want to say a few words about their master.
I guess Demetrius would slowly stand up, very solemn, walks to the front, and he would just be silent, standing there for a moment, trying to find the words to say. Master Ambrose was a very, very good teacher, and his skills were incredible, and he was a good man. He was kind to each of his apprentices, but being a good teacher doesn't always mean being kind. It means doing what needs to be done in order for the student to learn. Sometimes that means knocking heads, and sometimes that means being patient and listening and going over things step by step. He was very talented with the things that he built. He's built things that I am only just now understanding how they could even work. And his tutelage was tremendous. And he bows his head and closes his eyes and pauses for a moment, and then quietly walks back down.
At this point, we're going to go ahead and switch over to Brother Benedict, because he is in the middle of having a conversation with a priest of his own, trying to get some information.
A priest?
Or a monk.
Okay. We'll settle with a monk.
Now, you did not go back to the same monastery where you had been before.
No, I mean, I don't even know where that was. That was close to Dincham's estate,
Yeah.
I believe. And so I just went and found the closest one, looking for some brotherly guidance rather than fatherly guidance.
Okay.
A lot has happened over the past, it's only been 4 days since I got into town. 3 or 4 days. So Benedict's in kind of a whirlwind right now.
Okay. So you are able to find someone who is working in the herbalist shop, making poultices and grinding those together and getting ready like supplies that they might need to help care for people who are sick and injured and everything like that. Because a big part of what monasteries do is they help travelers. They provide food for the sick, and they're also a place where local people can go for healing.
Yeah.
So you find an older man. He seems to be rather... At one point in his life, he seems like he had been hardened by battle.
Okay.
And he has aged gracefully, though, and softened into a rather dignified-looking gentleman. He has gray silver hair and blue eyes, and he stands about shoulder height to you.
Okay. So he's a shorter old man.
Yes.
Okay.
But he's not decrepit in any way. He's more on towards like the later side of middle age.
Okay.
My son. And he's wearing a totally different habit than you are.
Yeah.
Yours, I would imagine, are just kind of a plain
Plain robe, look homespun. I mean,
Yeah.
we lived in a cave pretty much. I mean, we made our own clothes.
So his robes are a lot nicer made than yours. They look like they were actually woven on a loom rather than
Yeah.
made by hand, and he actually he has a white robe underneath with a black part that goes over his head, and it's just like a strip down in the white.
Okay.
And then there's like black piping around the cuffs of his robe as well.
Okay, so they almost look like they didn't know a rank or...
Not so much. It looks like the standard habit of his. The pipe, like when I say piping, I just mean like a long, not a ribbon, but white and then black.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like cuffs.
Excuse me, Brother
Cadfael.
Cadfael. May I bother you for a moment of your time?
Of course. How can I help you?
I'm looking for answers to some difficult questions, and I'm not sure where to look for them.
Well, what kind of questions do you have?
I don't even know if I know the question, let alone... I recently came to town, and I have met a group of people who, many of whom I have become fond of, many of whom I have not. But I do not believe my previous master would approve.
And what makes you say that?
I had a vision of my master from the grave,
A vision from the grave.
and he told me to be wary of the people that I'm with.
And have these people done anything wrong?
I do not believe that they believe that what they have done is wrong, but I believe that some of what they have done skirts the edge of wrong.
So they do not believe in... They have not done things in the manner that you believe God would lead them.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, have they been treasonous to the crown?
No,
Have they slandered the names of those known to be good?
no,
Have they sought to harm those that you love?
no, they have not.
Have they stolen from anybody?
Not that I know of.
Have they committed usury?
What's usury?
Usury is like graft, bribing people.
Oh,
you know. I mean, is this a Brother Benedict moment?
A little of both. So yes, actually, that would probably be the same question Brother Benedict would ask. But again, not that I know of. And if they have, it is likely it's been in service to the Queen, to the Crown.
Well, when done for a greater good, some things can be justified. Because the Queen speaks with the voice of God.
How can a human speak with the voice of God?
You've read your Old Testament, haven't you? God anoints the kings through his prophets. The Queen has been a duly anointed voice of God by the priesthood.
I don't remember that part.
Well, you've heard the stories of Samuel and how he anointed Saul
Yes.
and David.
Yes, I do remember that. I do not remember the part about the crown, the Angelan crown. Maybe I'm...
But just as David was the voice of God, and Solomon was the voice of God, and Saul, until he spoke to unnatural beings, was the voice of God.
So Saul lost the ability to speak with the voice of God because of the creatures that he was speaking with.
Well, yes, the Witch of Endor, and then also his decision to spare some of the Philistines. You did go through basic catechism before taking your vows, correct?
Vows.
Yes, vows.
I didn't take any vows. Not officially.
Your order did not... What?
No, I was raised by a monk to be a monk. That's how this worked.
You were one in the wilderness.
Yes.
An anchorite.
A what?
One who lives in the wilderness.
Yes, we lived in the wilderness until my master died, very recently.
And how much of the Gospels and the catechisms did your anchorite leader teach you?
I remember we went over a bit, but I can't say we ever spent hours discussing them. What does it mean to be a monk?
It means a great deal. It means to serve God and to serve others, as is the call of all who follow God's ways. But it also means that in addition to following God, you commit yourself to following his ways in all matters. In modesty, in sobriety, in chastity.
Brother Benedict, especially at the last part, blinks a few times because he's been attempting to end his struggle with his chastity.
You look like you have something to say, my son.
I want to know more about being a monk and what it means. Is there someone you can guide me to who I can discuss with this?
Well, I could take you to see Brother Anselm.
Brother Anselm.
Brother Anselm, yes. He is actually the head of the novices.
I would like to speak with him if that would be possible.
All right, we can arrange that. Now, Brother Anselm is a very harsh man, and he will make you work many hours.
Oh, I think you misunderstand me. I don't wish to join. I want to know more about what I'm supposed to be doing here. Everything you said, other than taking vows, I do.
Well, you're not really one of the brothers until you take the vows.
So serving God and serving my fellow men and learning to be a monk does not make me a monk?
No. You learn all those things through the novitiate, and then when you have fully become a holy and upright individual, then you take your vows.
I don't know any completely holy and upright individual. I believe that it is impossible to be 100% holy and upright. Isn't that what the scripture says?
Now, how much do you want Jordan, the former seminary to actually push through this? Because we could have a whole conversation
I'm trying to avoid
about perfect love and complete atonement.
and I'm trying to avoid that. But I'm also saying that
there is the idea that one can love God so perfectly that all sin is pushed out of one's being. It is a high mark to reach.
if you show me such a man, I will see such a man.
I think you would need to speak to our abbot then.
Instead of Brother Anselm?
Brother Anselm, as I said, is a hard man. I would not say that he is completely without sin.
But you said that once you are completely holy, you may be a brother. Is he not a brother?
He is a brother, yes. But there are moments of complete holiness.
Oh. So it's not 100% all the time complete holiness. It's striving for complete holiness.
It is called a process in crisis. You work through your shortcomings and your distance from God. You work through that. In a crisis that brings you closer to God, then you will be truly holy. And once you reach that point, then you will discover that there is more within your heart that needs to be cleansed away, and then the process begins again.
I see. Well, thank you very much, brother. You've given me much to think on.
Now, would you like to see Brother Anselm or the abbot?
Not right now. I may come back in the future.
All right, so then go in peace.
You as well, brother.
So you go ahead and leave. As you are coming out of the monastery, you see some soldiers coming towards you. Mm-hmm. They say, Brother Benedict?
Yes. And you are...
the guards for Lord Rafe Liveridge. You have been summoned to his presence.
Lead the way then. And so Benedict will, although walk, actually he'd probably walk next to whoever is speaking to him, despite whatever formation they're walking in.
And we will cut back to the funeral at the church, St. Dinian's. Soldiers have arrived at the funeral as well. The last rites have been finished, and they are preparing to take the body to the graveyard when you two are approached.
Like inside the...
In the narthex, yes.
Okay.
Inside the actual church.
Okay.
You see a group of guards coming your way. They actually don't know what you look like. One opens a piece of paper and reads some names, and they've interrupted the whole service.
Oh, gosh.
Coming in, because the priest is giving the benediction, making the sign of the angels when the doors just open forward, and several guards walk in, and you can tell the commanding officer steps forward, and he says, Demetrius, Norden, and Grayson Digby, your presence is required by Lord Rafe Livridge.
Well, everybody looks at Demetrius.
Yeah, they all know
because
him.
they know him.
Yeah.
One of them leans over and goes, what did you do?
I've done nothing. Gets up and walks
Are
over
there
to
guards
the
at the
soldier.
exit?
Oh, yeah.
Dang it.
They've stopped, because you're, in the last
Yeah,
of the boxes.
I was like, hopefully they just went up to the front and I can just be like, woo, woo.
Nope, they're
Up
standing
and out.
right next to you.
Oh.
Because
So there's a guard right next to you.
Yes.
Rap.
If they move in front, you just lay down and go invisible.
Demetrius would get up and walk over to the guards and quietly go to them and be like, this is a funeral. Please,
And you are required to come right now.
please exit while they are mourning.
You want them to mourn
Please.
only one?
What?
Do you want them to mourn only one?
I'm not saying I won't go with you, just
Then
please.
let us go now.
Yeah, go. Come on. Timing is everything. Let's go.
Speaking of which, where can you bring out the character you got? All right.
And yours has been poor. Let's go. Demetrius would look at Digby out of the side of his eye and shake his head slightly and keep going.
Let's see if they notice that.
Red Die of Doom, first roll, season 2.
He didn't have that number.
5.
Not easy.
No.
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 It was very slight. It was like
Yeah.
it could have been seen as like
A shiver or
a shiver or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
dismissal.
So-
of them.
But they definitely see that you're sitting right there.
Yeah.
And you are? Are you the other, Grayson Digby?
Grayson? No, I've not seen Grayson around. Well, apparently was supposed to be here. I know there was another funeral. Might want to check across town.
There's funerals every day. Go ahead and make a deception roll.
Persuasion.
Persuasion, yeah.
23.
Okay. Is he telling the truth?
I'm already outside.
Yeah, well,
I would have just went.
You just stick around for their conversation.
No, I wouldn't have stuck
Okay.
around for that conversation. I would have been outside. Jordan wants really bad to catch Jeremy in this.
45 minutes into season 2, wrench in Jordan's plan.
so be it then. And so the guard walks out and leaves you behind. We'll go ahead and take a quick break there, and when we'll come back, we'll find out what's going on with Jorus Glave.
Rashomon, a land where spirits roam and witches rule. 3 women are embroiled in a divine plot, and it is up to them to uncover why. Join the adventures of the Broadswords at thebroadswords.com.
All right,
Alright.
Jorus, where have you been? What have you been doing?
I have
since-
been spying on the palace,
spying on the palace.
trying to figure out how to get back into it without getting caught. I know lots of secret passages and stuff like that because of the gears that we hid in Lord Walsham's chambers. I want to retrieve those. Don't want to leave them where the enemy can get their hands on them.
Okay. You've grown up around the palace, and you know it quite well.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to try and do at first to get in?
Well, first I want to just observe the pattern of the guards around the courtyards and check my normal secret entrances.
Okay.
Sewer grates. I also have my falcon flying around.
Okay.
Soaring up out of arrow range. What you can see.
So it seems like the guards have actually like tripled their patrols and their like how many people they have. It looks like you're seeing a lot of the same faces over and over again. It looks like they're having to pull extra shifts because they done messed up.
Yeah.
The queen was taken from the palace on their watch. There's a lot of activity going on and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely go ahead and like roll for the grates that you said you wanted to check out.
Yeah, I just want to check and see if they're being guarded or anything like that.
Okay.
So, I guess 13.
Okay. It doesn't look like they're being watched, but it looks like cement has been put down, like, and the cracks, like they've been cemented down to provide more security.
I think like keep patches as I would know in and out of the palace.
And did you have a room? Did you have your apartments in the palace?
I did have apartments in the palace. It was just a very small chamber. I didn't stay there very often.
Mm-hmm. But you were definitely no.
I was definitely no.
So would it be too hard to just walk in to the palace, or do you,
I don't trust any of the guards.
You don't trust the guards,
Yeah,
even the ones that you know personally.
even the ones I know personally, because I thought I could trust the captain of the guard.
Right. We will say that there is a lot of palaces have privies.
Mm-hmm.
There is a river that cuts through the town. There is a
Sewer entrance.
Yes, but it's in the river, so you would have to actually do some swimming to get there.
Before I do anything like that, report what's the guard situation look like up on the towers and the walls.
Those are significantly increased as well. So not just the entrances, but you see men walking on the parapets and open balconies on the towers and everything like that. On the towers, there's less people, like 1 or 2, rather than the 6 or 8 on major gates and everything like that.
Yeah. Because I can have Arasha, my falcon, just fly into the chambers, retrieve the book that the gears are stored in, and just try to make sure he doesn't get shot in the process. Does Arasha think that it's viable to fly into one of the windows on that side of the palace?
Yeah, I don't think that should be too much. I mean, a bird can fly through any window. But
Once it's shut.
yeah, unless there's a pane of glass there. But is your bird sentient enough to have that kind of?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any skills for hers?
I based it off of one of the creatures in this.
You want to use like the griffin stats?
Where's the dragon?
Definitely a dragon.
That's a big falcon.
Yeah, that's what I based off of, was the phoenix.
The phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say that it's
That'd be agility.
yeah, agility versus perception. Ah,
9.
well, I rolled a 1 on my wild die.
Was
The guards have fallen asleep.
So the guards are talking about the latest baker's apprentice, who seems to be rather fetching, and they're talking about yeast and rising and kneading and all sorts of things of that nature.
So yeah, basically before I sent them in, I described to them that it would be on this shelf,
Okay.
and it would be a book this thick
Okay.
of this color.
Okay.
are birds colorblind?
Some are.
Some aren't.
Yeah,
But
falcons are not.
but also, can you see through her eyes because of your mental link?
I do not have that ability. That's when I'm working on learning,
Okay.
but I do not have that ability yet.
Okay. Because I thought you had ESP.
I do have ESP. Is that one to see through the eyes? No, it's you can hear the thoughts
Okay.
of a person no matter the language.
All right. So you are going to the bird flies gracefully through the air and manages to flit through the window as they are distracted. We're going to go ahead and say that it's kind of hard for the bird to find.
Yeah,
Find
I
the
didn't
book.
think it to be a quick, easy thing, but
Yeah. We'll set it at an 18 difficulty.
18 difficulty. Nothing. Failed that time.
Okay, so the bird is like going through and knocking all the books off the shelves, trying to pop it open with its head, I would imagine.
Opening it shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
Getting it off the shelf would be a lot more difficult than opening it.
Yeah. But a hooked beak and claws really do help with that. It's kind of like trying to hover in place while it happens is the hard part. So yeah, not successful that time. Go ahead and try again.
Trying to get 18 with 3 dice.
Yeah.
Possible, but not likely.
You got a 12.
Okay.
15 rather. This is plus 2.
Yeah. So the bird is getting warmer. They found the right shelf, but they're still working on it. So now that they found the right shelf, we'll say that it's a moderate difficulty. We'll drop it down by 6. So we'll say 12.
Right. I got it.
Okay. So it knocks it out.
16.
Yeah.
18.
So the bird knocks it down, scoops him up. Now it's got to get past the guards again.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and roll for that.
All right.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah,
14.
I rolled a 4. The virtues of the baker's apprentice have just go on and on. It's really funny because they didn't
Lovely
even...
loaves.
Yeah. Loaves.
Or lumpy loaves.
The biscuits. The croissants. Oh, the croissants.
White and fluffy breads.
Melts in your mouth. The bird gets past, they're just fine.
All right. Now, I'm not like being out in the middle of the street where guards can see me from the gates or anything like that.
Right.
I'm hidden.
Okay.
The house across the way, behind the window.
I'm the guy with the torch standing in the middle of the street.
And you're like, oh, come on, birdie. Come on. Now that your bird is returned with the gears, what do you want to do?
Well, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to cast Dispel Magic.
Good call. Good call.
The Dispel Magic, doesn't there have to be magic working?
It's +5 to the level of the magic on the object.
We haven't really talked about that at this point.
No, we haven't. Like I said, I'm going to make you work this game.
Yeah. So we're going to say that it's actually really powerful magic.
I figured. That's why I'm attempting.
Attempting. Well, attempting is a very rash thing to say. We're going to say that it's 30. 30, so you need 35.
Yeah. So these are the gears that were
At least not
ordered
43.
by the guild.
Right.
That's not 30.
Nope.
But
It's
dang
not.
on close.
It's got to be 35.
I know. It's a 28.
28. Yeah, so by yourself, you're not going to be able to demagicify these gears. You might need the help of an actual wizard. And the only wizard you know is on the other side of the wall that you're trying not to go through.
I'm trying to think if this is worth this. If I dispel the magic, we don't have to worry about them anymore at all. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. Use a hero point
Okay.
and add 6.
So that's 34.
That's 34. I'm going to spend 1 character point for a die.
Okay. And then roll that.
But it still counts as a 1. That gives me 35.
Okay. So describe to me how you suck the magic out of these.
Alright, I'm still fairly new at this spell, so it's one I've been practicing a little bit. What I do is I dig a pit. Not a deep pit, just a little hole that's big enough to hold them. I say a little incantation over top of them, and as I'm saying the incantation, they start glowing. Right at the end, and this is like the critical point where I usually fail, is they start sparking, and usually that distracts me enough that I fail. This time, with all my extra concentration, they were sparking, and the sparks jumped up to my fingertips, and then I shook them down into the ground, and they just dispersed into the earth.
Okay.
And they're inert.
All right.
So you have 1 extra die.
I do. I like that. Like, as the magic is dispersed, I would say that it's probably a physically demanding thing for you to do.
Yeah.
This is not something that
If it's a spell I've been known for a long time, it wouldn't be as bad, but since I'm fairly new at it.
So, are you doing this like in an alleyway, or?
Yes, it's in an alleyway, but it's in back of a house, a safe house.
Okay. So you have a safe house.
I have several safe houses throughout the city.
So, as you're walking around to go back into the front of the safe house, you do see 2 of the royal guards.
Okay. Well, I sneak.
Okay.
I don't want them to see me. 14.
Just one shy. As you're going, you accidentally kick a pebble and it skitters across and gets their attention.
But it's free.
And they turn around and they see you and they say, Jorus Glave?
Can I help you, fellows?
That is your name, correct? Jorus Glave.
That's what my mother called me, yes.
You are required to attend at the leisure of Lord Rafe Liverich.
I'm assuming I know who he is.
Yes.
What do I know about him?
He is the chief of the Privy Council.
He's King Pooper Scooper.
Yep.
No, the Privy Council is like it's essentially the cabinet.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, it's the
Oh, different privy. I was like, they got a council for that?
Actually, yes, they do.
It's the poopsmith.
yeah. The Fecal Guild wants to see you.
Oh, cool. That sounds so much worse.
Have you read any of the Discworld stuff?
No, I haven't.
There's one character in the Discworld series he is the king of poop. That he has made a fortune being the only one willing to collect sewage.
Someone's got to do it. Actually, I do know, slightly out of context or out of game, but I do know that like a lot of people who collect garbage, they make really good money doing that. So
Yeah. You say he's head of the Privy Council?
that's correct. He is the head of the Privy Council. You're just gonna
Not laugh every time.
Very well. Let's go.
All right. So, Grayson.
Grayson, as the guards leave, would slip out of the box and then go invisible.
Okay.
You want to go outside the box, or you want to lay down in the box where nobody can see you?
Well, I assume the attention draws back to the ceremony at that point.
Yeah.
So
as just to let you know what's going on, all of the remaining members of the guild are taking pieces of Ambrose's equipment, and they are actually placing like his
tools,
his master's tools into the casket with him. That is what is happening at this point.
all right. So at that moment, Grayson's going to just kind of slink back into the shadows and go invisible.
Okay. What's the target number on this?
27.
Okay.
It's 26 is what I have. I'm going to drop a character point on it.
Nice.
Well, it explodes,
Yeah.
so I keep going.
Plus 10.
Plus 10, so 36.
Okay. So
I'm very,
you're
very invisible.
invisible.
And then I'm going to go out and follow the guards and Demetrius.
Okay. So they are heading back towards the palace. They take Demetrius through the town and to the castle, and they open the gates and they go through and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm going to ditch my overcoat before I get through the gate.
Okay.
So what, drop it like right outside the gate, or?
No.
I was gonna say.
Not right outside. Just as I see Ulrich approaching the gate, down the alley. Just toss it.
Okay.
Somebody pay very close attention, just see the coat fly out of nowhere.
And they run and go get it. 'Cause was this a coat that you had in one of your things that people want stashes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. When he came in, he's dressed nicely.
Very nice. Yeah.
He has nice clothes.
Do you actually go try and get close enough to go in with the guards?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do I need to stealth roll?
No, you should be fine since you're already invisible. The guards, they're not having any conversation with you. They're just kind of
It's fine with
pushing
me.
you along.
Pushing me.
Yeah, I mean
Hustling
walking
you.
really fast.
Hustling you along.
Every once in a while, you feel like you Johnny's wearing a kilt, so the image of him doing the hustle is just even really more intensified by that. But every once in a while, you'll feel like a spear, kind of like.
Excuse you, I'm walking. I would stop and be like, "Look, I'm willingly going with you. Stop prodding me."
All right, we need to hurry though.
I can understand that, but you don't need to poke me. I'm not a cow to be prodded. Thank you very much. And just walks off.
Okay. You go into the palace without any difficulty, and they take you up the stairs and into basically a waiting room. As you're waiting there, the first person in the room is actually Jorus, who was closest of all 4 of you to the palace. And then,
Are there any guards outside of the waiting room?
yes,
Okay.
Brother Benedict is the third to arrive.
Okay, so we're still in the waiting room. We haven't gone into.
Yeah, you're in the waiting room,
Okay.
Are there any guards inside the room?
No.
Okay.
just on the outside. And the room doesn't. It has one way in like there's a door at the other end,
Mhm.
but probably would be guarded on the far side.
On the other side.
On the opposite side, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You see them bringing Brother Benedict through the hall, and
I would have tried to go in the room.
okay, so you're in the room as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes much more sense because I thought you kind of stopped and was like, oh, there's guards. I'm going to just kind of hang out here in the hallway.
No.
Yeah. All right, so all 4 of you are in the room. One of you is being sneaky. And is this the first time you all have seen each other since the events in the last session?
Which, how long ago was that?
It was a few days ago.
A few days. Okay.
I was originally going to have it to be 3 weeks, and I'm like, well, that's really long to wait for a funeral. So you're looking at each other.
Yeah, I don't know if Benedict would be looking at anybody. He's still pensive. Kind of staring off into space.
I'm watching very closely what everybody else is doing.
I think Demetrius would be sizing up Brother Benedict because of what he heard him say the last time they were in company. Not worried that he'll do anything, but just like concerned for his mental state of being.
Do you want to talk to him about anything? Or?
No, it would be a silent...
A silent assessment?
Yeah, a silent contemplation of, I wonder how he's doing. He saw some weird things that I couldn't see, which we both saw weird things together, so if he's seeing weird things that I didn't see, it must be messing with his brain.
Actually, I don't think Benedict is really that weirded out by it, as much as...
But that's what would make
Demetrius
more concerned, that he's not freaking out about it.
Fair enough.
Because he'd be like... He told me that he saw a dead person
talking to him
and isn't disturbed by this.
Okay. Yeah.
And you don't want to like approach him and try and see how he's doing or anything like that.
No, just...
Oh, nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, we've had copacetic interactions.
Grayson, what do you think of all these silent, brooding men standing around doing nothing?
I mean, Grayson is wanting to break the tension in the room, but at the same time, it's like, dang it, if I was invisible, I would say something, but I'm just going to sit back and watch. This is kind of awkward.
Were there any guards in the room with us?
No, there's not.
Okay.
There's only guards on the outside.
The situation is awkward. I mean, we've been called by this dude that isn't here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's here.
He's not in this room with
Not
us.
in this room, but he's here.
So, I mean...
He's in the privy.
Counsel.
He's counseling the privy. Just flush, please. Just flush.
I wonder what kind of counseling that thing would need.
Would you need counseling with that, John?
Yeah.
I see nothing but poop jokes for the next, 12 weeks.
Why would you change your name to Latree?
You guys done?
We were just
Probably
starting.
not.
You should know this, that we were just starting.
There I go, trying to give some historical verisimilitude to
I
the
knew what you
situation.
meant.
Of course you did. And then you went the totally wrong
Of course I
direction.
did. I had to.
Uh-huh. Everybody loses character points tonight.
Come on, which Renfest today? You went to the privy.
The door opposite the one that you came into opens, and in comes Lord Liveridge. Jorus, you know him already, so go ahead and give us a bit of a description.
Right. He's what you would typically think of when you think nobleman. About 5'10". So he's not short, but not extremely tall either. Decently built. He's very finely dressed. He has a well-trimmed hair, beard. Like I said, when you think nobleman, he's your typical nobleman.
Okay.
Nothing unusual stands out about him particularly.
Except for his nose.
Well, I was going to say, except for the fact that he is known to have poor eyesight.
Okay.
I noticed the nose.
What's wrong with his nose?
Bulbous.
I do notice one thing unusual. He is wearing a unusual brooch or necklace thing around him. So when I see that, I want to check and see if it has any kind of magic aura on it.
Okay. Go ahead and make your roll.
Target number 15, so.
I think you got it.
I think I got it. 22.
Yeah, so you can't sense anything magical off of that.
So while I'm looking at it, I don't see anything magical around him at all.
Correct. Now, what was your last interaction with him like?
We didn't interact much because I was not in charge of anything. So my personal interactions would have been very minimal. He interacted with Lord Walsham quite a bit, who I interacted with.
Right.
So that's more how I knew him. So last time he was just talking with Lord Walsham. Nothing in particular.
Does he seem like someone who is typically fair, or is he more of a bellicose personality?
I know from what I've heard that he treats his servants well. For me personally, he hasn't paid much attention to me.
Sure. But reputation is he's a fairly honorable.
Yeah, reputation is he is. And that's why the Queen liked him.
Was he married?
Yes.
There's supposed to be a fourth person here, but we can go ahead and get started while the guards are trying to round him up.
My Jewish lord.
I want you to tell me the details of Walsham's body when you found him.
When we arrived at the palace, we were told he was dead, and guards took us to his body. I don't remember specifically what I found when I was inspecting the body.
Other than
for cause of death or anything.
I thought it was a magical death. His soul had been sucked from his body. Was
yes,
the description that I remember.
Yes. I'm just trying to think if I want to tell him that part of it or not.
I'm trying to remember. Did we bury him, or did we think that he?
We left the guards in charge of burying him.
Okay. We actually said that he was dead, and we didn't try to hold on to his body for something else.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's why they went through his pockets, so that we wouldn't have to hold on to the body.
Because you were actually looking for gears.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to think, do I want to tell him about seeing that his soul and stuff like that? I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Just because I don't know who I can trust around the palace anymore. We examined the body, couldn't find any noticeable cause of death, but he was most definitely deceased. And we instructed the guard to take his body for funeral rites.
And you two would concur with this?
Yeah.
There was nothing untoward about his death. It was not caused by poisoning or some other foul murder.
It most likely was, but there was no obvious evidence of anything. When I examined the body myself, there was no marks of strangulation, no seepage, poison from the mouth or anything like that. It smelled of decay, but it had been an hour or so since his death when I found him.
Now, do you know any reason why somebody would want to kill him?
I know several, as I'm sure you do too.
I want to hear it from your own mouths.
You want me to list off? I mean, the Queen has enemies, therefore everybody who serves the Queen has enemies.
Go ahead and name the ones that you think most pertinent. And we're not talking about the Queen. The Queen is another matter that we will discuss. But right now we're discussing Walsham.
Yes. They go hand in hand.
Not necessarily.
In this instance, I believe they do. Who do you serve?
I serve the crown. A crown that needs to be filled.
Yes. The queen needs to be rescued.
We will discuss that later. Right now, we're trying to get to the bottom of this.
Demetrius just sort of like blinks with a excuse you kind of look on his face, like, what? Doesn't say anything, but just very confused.
He was serving the queen. There was enemies of the queen attacking.
Not all of Walsham's dealings were immediately for the queen.
All that I'm aware of were.
Was there anybody that Walsham told you specifically to watch?
That was his job, was assigning me people to watch.
Right before his death.
Yes, we were investigating Lord Densham.
Do you think Lord Densham had him killed?
I think that Lord Densham was behind the murder, yes.
Do you think there could have been any other options for someone who wanted to get rid of Walsham? Anybody else that he said that to watch?
Nothing pertinent that I know of, no.
He's going to go ahead and roll wit to try and determine whether or not you're telling the full truth. You're kind of edging it towards prevarication here. So you're going to want to go ahead and make a roll too. What do you have under charm that would be the best?
Persuade.
Yeah, persuasion.
2d plus 2.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I have very little charm. 11.
8.
Nice!
Yeah.
So far, season 2 is liking the red die. Doing 2 1s and no 6s.
Amen.
Just wait till we get into combat.
Yeah.
We have word that one of you was under Walsham's suspicions. So if we find out that any of your group was involved in Walsham's death...
Well, I can tell you that neither of these gentlemen were involved because they were with me when Walsham was killed, and we were nowhere near the palace. We were on the docks. You can check with the guard to verify that, because the guard was there with us.
I believe the whole city saw me. No. Yes. Saw me running through, so I have plenty of witnesses that I did not kill the man.
Where is your companion? Do any of you know where your companion is?
I do not know where he is, but he was with us at the docks at the same time. You can, again, check with the guard. There's many of them that saw us there.
He was with us at the docks, and I do not know where he is currently.
Have any of you seen him since St. Aldrich's Cathedral was cut off?
In the past 3 days.
The past 3 days?
This is the first I've seen any of these gentlemen in the past 3 days.
You could have been doing anything.
I could have been doing anything over the past 3 days.
Which is irrelevant to Walsham's death.
Uh-huh.
That will be our decision to make. All 3 of you will stay here until your compatriot is found. And he opens the door to the room that he had come through before and goes out that way.
I want to see if I see anything through the door.
Okay.
That would be wit, right? 22.
That's a good roll, Joe. That's a very good
So what do
roll.
you see through the door?
You tell me. You tell me, because I don't know where you're going with this character.
You see guards. You see what looks like several important people. It looks like you see like the bishop of the church, the archbishop, nobles and stuff like that.
Is it the archbishop or the...
The one you rescued?
Yes.
Yes. And it looks just like
Okay.
regular courtiers and officials.
With the archbishop in there, I feel a lot better.
Grayson able to see any of that?
Yes, you both can see.
Benedict doesn't care.
Alright, so Grayson is going to go over to the other door,
The one we came in
the
through?
one we came in through. He's going to knock on it.
Okay. You guys, what do you want to do? You just started knocking on the door.
I would look at the door.
Okay.
I guess I would be like,
You tried to turn the doorknob?
yeah, I would try to turn the doorknob, and if it didn't turn, I'd be like, did one of you guys knock?
Yeah, it doesn't go and the door is locked.
That's distressing.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I mean, no response at all from the guards on the other side.
Even with the jiggling handle.
Stop that.
Why are we locked in? What if I need to use the privy?
His lord's orders. There is a chamber pot.
Ew.
You're used to using one.
Yeah.
Come on, Ren Fair Boy. You've seen your own fair share of those. And we're going to go ahead and end the episode right there. Locked in a room between guards and royalty. Not really anybody's favorite place to be. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Bone Throwers Theater. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means that you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @bonethrowerstheater, and also you can look us up on Facebook and Google+. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.